in March, I'm going to be doing my next goal race. It's 51 kilometers, 1,340 meters of elevation gain, and it is the Haworth Hobble. Next question is, how am I going to prepare for this race? Based on how previous training blocks have gone, both physically and mentally, I'm going to approach things a little bit differently this time. The first key change for this one is a shift in mindset. The last two training blocks I've done for long trail races have ended in one DNF in 2023, which was due to a kit malfunction, and then this year I managed my taper really badly, and the weather on race day was just so horrendous. In both these situations I felt utterly crushed and essentially felt like I had wasted 4 months. The big mindset shift here will be to view this training block as a training block that happened to have a race at the end of it. Obviously I would like to do well and I would like to achieve my goals. The trouble with these longer races is there is so much that could go wrong in the run up to race day, and then on race day itself, some of those things that go wrong may be completely out of my control. This means in order to cement foundations for long-term success, I have to place more importance on the process rather than the outcome. This sort of mindset does mean that training overall will be more sustainable because I will be looking beyond just the goal ahead of me. So if something does happen on race day that just totally derails my best laid plans, I'm much less likely to sink into a mental spiral of feeling like it was all a waste.
The other more significant change for this training block is that I'm going to be racing more. During the training block for 10 res, I raced once. I did the Tour of Bradwell half, basically as a tune-up race, and thinking back to it, it's not really enough. I do run with a running club on average once a week, and I try and make it to my local park run when I can. Even so, it does mean that training through the winter is still quite dark and lonely. So far I've got 3 shorter races sprinkled in through the training block. I might add a 4th, and this is basically just to try and break up that kind of dark, lonely stretch and inject a little bit of fun into the training block. It just means I've got essentially sort of mini sub goals that I can kind of aim towards and I can look forward to that break up the training block a little bit, rather than it feeling like literally 3 months of just grinding and then a race. So the idea here is literally just to kind of help the mental fatigue side of training for 4 months for something, because when I reached my taper period for 10 res, I was mentally drained. I had like no emotional capacity really to put into the taper, which is part of why the taper went so badly.
The rest of the block will be pretty straightforward in terms of training. I'll be doing my hill reps, doing my tempo runs, gradually increasing the distance of my long runs, and just gradually increasing my mileage in general. My peak mileage will be a little bit lower than it was for 10 res this year. I did overcook myself a bit, and I would really like to avoid doing that again. It is better to get to the start line slightly undertrained than it is to get there overtrained. While the running training is going to be really bread and butter stuff, just pretty straightforward, I will be more specifically periodizing my strength training, and as the block progresses I will be doing a couple of videos on various aspects of strength training and just giving a little bit more insight into exactly what I'm doing in my strength training sessions, so keep an eye out for those. I am really looking forward to putting in another training block. There have been changes, I suppose, in my running over the last, I want to say 4 or 5 months. My running form feels so much smoother, and just running in general feels physically easier. I suppose I have some level of growing confidence that I'm doing the right things and I'm progressing in the right direction. I don't think I possess a great deal of natural talent, but I think I can make up quite a bit of that deficit with consistent and smart training. So that's really the long-term goal with all of this, is I stack training blocks on training blocks, and at some point a long race is going to go smoothly, a goal race is going to go smoothly. I've not had a great track record so far. I have had a couple of things that have gone really well, but not necessarily the ones that I wanted to go really well. But it's all a process. So if Haworth Hobble doesn't go really well, it's a part of the process. We're thinking in years. While I will have goal races every year, they are effectively just steps for me to continue climbing to where I eventually want to get to. That's enough from me. There will be videos every week, hopefully. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.